Kung Fu Panda 4 is the most recent DreamWorks animated film and is once again starring Jack Black as the titular character Po, and we have new characters as well, like a sly fox played by Awkwafina. Now, one thing you have to know about me is that I love the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. I love those films so much. If I had to rate them, I would give the first one a diamond top hat, the second one a holy top hat, and the third one a gold top hat. I think it is a phenomenal trilogy, and when I heard that a fourth one was being made, I was really excited because of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, for how good that film was. I was thinking if we got a Kung Fu Panda movie on that level of quality, sign me up. I'm thoroughly excited for that. Now, unfortunately, Kung Fu Panda 4 is not on the same quality of any of the other Kung Fu Panda films. In fact, I would say that it's probably the weakest of the series, but I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good film that kids can enjoy and parents can enjoy as well, but unfortunately, there are a few issues that I have with this movie that makes me feel like Kung Fu Panda 4 is half-baked, unfortunately. I'll start with the good stuff. Jack Black's performance as Po, once again, is phenomenal. He was born to play this character. I can't think of any other voice actor that I would have for Po. He does a phenomenal job. And in fact, he has a rendition of a song in the end credits that is just probably the best thing about the movie. Like, I would see the film just to hear the end credits song again. Like, it's a really good song. And the returning voice cast is really good too. Dustin Hoffman playing Shifu once again is great. Seeing Ian McShane come back as Tai Lung is also a great thing to see. They both do a phenomenal job. But unfortunately, I'm not sold on Awkwafina's performance as Shen, or Zen. Honestly, I don't know how to pronounce the name because they kept on saying the name differently throughout the movie. But her performance is, I hate to say it, but it reminds me a lot of Chris Pratt, how she plays the same voice, similar to how Chris Pratt plays the same voice in every animated film that he does. And I'm not entirely sold on her being casted in so many voice acting gigs. I mean, I do find her funny in the live action stuff she's in, but when it comes to animated stuff and her voice acting, I'm not really sold, unfortunately. And seeing how this is a DreamWorks film, of course the animation is going to be beautiful. I mean, it's a very pretty film to look at, and similar to other Kung Fu Panda movies, the action is top notch. Especially near the end of the film, where there's this big climactic battle between the main villain, the Chameleon, against Po. And the Chameleon, who has this power to like change to any person that she wants to. I mean, she's just changing the character after character after character, where the animation is so smooth and well done, and the choreography is so done for the action sequences. I'd say the film is worth seeing just to see the great action sequences. Though unfortunately that's probably where my compliments end for the film, because a lot of the stuff, like I said, feels half-baked. Like, the first thing is, there's no Furious 5 in this movie. Now, in my opinion, you can't have a Kung Fu Panda film without the Furious 5. The Furious 5 is what makes Po such a great character, because even though he is the Dragon Warrior, he's learning from these masters, and he's learning so many things from his friends, and I feel like a film without these characters kind of makes me feel like there's like an episode of the Kung Fu Panda TV show where they didn't have the actors or characters in them. So, I don't know, just seeing a film without the Furious 5 for a Kung Fu Panda film, I don't know, it doesn't really work for me. Now, another thing that I did find disappointing in this film was the villain, which is the Chameleon. I mean, she has a cool design, and she has a cool power to turn into any villain that she wants to, or any character that she wants to. And she's voice acted pretty good by Viola Davis, but I would say she's very, very lackluster compared to the other Kung Fu Panda films that we've had with their villains. I mean, Tai Lung, phenomenal villain. Shen, phenomenal villain. Amazing backstory and a great rendition of how he conflicts with Po. Love that villain so much. I would say the villain in the third film was also kind of forgettable. I don't remember too much about him, but again, he was voiced great by J.K. Simmons. But with this villain here, I don't know, there just wasn't enough with this character. I mean, I would say the villain's in here for only like 20 minutes. I mean, you don't really get to see much about her, and you don't really see her main goal or main evil plan until like the final 15 minutes of the film. I mean, if it was for like any other animated film, I would say the villain would be fine, but seeing how this is in the Kung Fu Panda series, a series known to have phenomenal villains, this one was definitely lackluster to me. And also, like I said, the action sequences are pretty good. They don't hold a candle to any of the action sequences in the original trilogy. I mean, with every fight scene, I was just thinking about the amazing fight scene on the bridge in Kung Fu Panda 1, or when Tai Lung escaped prison in Kung Fu Panda 1. Those are titular, amazing action sequences in this series, and the action sequences in Kung Fu Panda 4 never hold a candle to anything like those. Another thing that seems half-baked is not getting some of the voice acting back for this film. Like, the chameleon can turn into any villain that she wants to, and she turns into Tai Lung, and they do get Ian McShane back to play him, but she also turns into the villains from Kung Fu Panda 2 and 3, and they don't get J.K. Simmons or Gary Oldman back to voice these characters. So, again, it makes this film feel half-baked and I want to say cheap, unfortunately, compared to the other trilogy. But, I don't know, I don't understand why they couldn't just get the voice actors back for this one. But maybe it was because of the writer's strike, I don't know, but it did leave me wondering, why is this film so lackluster compared to the other films? And the dynamic between Po and Zen, this fox, is done pretty well, but you can tell immediately when you meet this character what her storyline is gonna be. I mean, the minute she came on screen, I knew, beat for beat, how this story was gonna go. And compared to the other trilogy, I hate to compare this film to the trilogy, but I don't know, those films had great, amazing stories, and in this one, it felt like a story that would be like in the Kung Fu Panda animated TV show, like nothing on par with the amazing DreamWorks films. And I will say the film does have a pretty good message about change and adapting to change, but I will say that the moral is pretty half-baked as well. I mean, compared to the trilogy, like I said, I keep on comparing this film to the trilogy, everything just seems half-baked. I don't know, like, again, it's not a terrible film, but compared to the original trilogy, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed. I think kids are gonna love this. I think adults can find some good things in it too, with the great voice acting and some really great action sequences, but I don't think that this film will be remembered as much as the original trilogy. Which is why I'm gonna give Kung Fu Panda 4 the silver top hat. Guys, your first time hearing like what you've seen, be sure to subscribe for more content. And have you seen Kung Fu Panda 4? What did you think about it? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a fantastic night, and as always, stay fancy.